everybody to Airsoft review on a gun I am very excited about. This is the Krytac CRB. Now there's many things that are to be expected with this gun, and quality is definitely one of them. And let's open up and see what we got here. So box is very nice. You got your warning sticker for Airsoft GI, you got your Krytac logo, all that good stuff. So turn it around, flip this open. Got one layer of foam right here. You got your do not return this product to the store. You have your manual, which is actually very nice. It's instructive for new airsofters and anybody that just wanted to get to know the gun better. Your 60-day warranty, which is great, by Krytac. I'm very happy they have that. A nice sticker, and that would go around the trigger guard. So now you also have a magazine right here, and I'm leaving these things in because I'm going to be selling them, not because they're not high quality, but because I don't really need them with me right now. But so what this magazine is like, it's like the C-Cube, the HK 416, in which you have the magazine, and on the bottom you have your winding, okay, and then you have a tool right here to be able to wind, which is very helpful. Yeah, so that'll definitely wind up much faster on the field than anything else that you have. One of the problems people have was they didn't like how there's a key, and that would make it so they could lose it or something. But what they fixed with this Airsoft, this magazine, was it now just has a normal winding wheel on the bottom as well. And then you have some normal front and rear sights, very nice. And oh, here's your winding tool, don't forget that. And then your gun. Let's take this out. Right off the bat, you're going to see the absolute high quality of this gun. The matte black finish is thoroughly integrated into the rails and the upper and lower body, so you're not getting any differentiating color. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you what I don't like about this gun. First of all, the ambidextrous selector on this side is extremely hard to move, so anybody that's going to be a lefty and plan on using this feature, it's going to actually be faster just to move over and do that instead of actually use it, which is kind of a disappointing feature. There's also a lot of wobble in the fake gas tube, trigger guard, and stock. I kind of tried to fix all of those, and now it's a lot more solid, but just something to note right out the box. And then lastly, the magazine to put into this gun can get to be kind of a pain. Let me see here. It's very finicky. This isn't in, and you have to really. And then sometimes when you're hitting this to release the magazine, if you don't hit it perfectly on, it's gonna lock, and you won't be able to release the magazine. It's a very annoying feature, and it's going to take longer to reload sometimes on the field, but not too much of a big problem because I don't use like mid caps or anything like that. But other than that, no, you have a fantastic gun, and I'm going to tell you why. Then I'm going to later explain to you why the internals are able to handle 11.1 Lipo better than anything else on the market right now. So we start off with stock. It's obviously very nice. You have numbers on the top right here, as you can see. That's gonna, I never really thought that was a big deal at all to me, but if it is to you, that's always good. The great thing about this stock is that it is able to house a variety of magazines and batteries. If you see this brick type battery that normally wouldn't be able to fit in any type of crane stock could actually be integrated very well like this, and because this is a hollow outside, you're able to fit something like this in, which is definitely phenomenal. You're also able to fit obviously your normal butter type batteries right here, and your buffer tube lipo right there. If you want to run an external battery, pop this off, and then you could wire it out to the outside and just use a battery bag or something like that. You have two QD sling mounts right here, sling points right here. You have very nice and stiff. I like the stock a lot overall. it's definitely a good aftermarket stock if you ever need to buy one for your gun, if you're not going to actually buy the Krytac M4 itself. Over here you have your normal Tinema connectors. Wish they would have used Dean's, but hey, everybody uses these Tinema connectors now, and they also have the car fuse battery, which is much easier to find than the standard fuses, so very happy with that. Some people don't even take out the connectors in the first place anyway, but over here you have a normal style pistol grip, nothing special about it. The motor is actually very nice, high torque, so you get around 22 RPM or RPS on 11.1 volt, which is very nice. It doesn't even overheat that much either. I used it and it was actually very nice. Trigger guard is enlarged for if you're using glove style. Very nice selector switch. I wish it would have clicked into place a little bit better, but hey, I'm not, too picky about that. Very, very nice trades by Krytac. The Kraken look to it, and it's not all this white text that a lot of people dislike. Then you have your sling points right here, 1, 2, and if you didn't want to use it in the rear stock, and they're also bent, so you can it won't dig into you if you're using like a 1-point sling mount. Also in the back, if you're ever teching your gun, it's funneled for where the screw goes in, so if you want to take your screwdriver and put it in, it's much easier, and anybody that ever techs on their guns would already know that it's definitely a problem. So I'm glad they addressed that, and now it's going to be 10 times easier to be able to remove that screw. It was always a pain. On this side, you have manufactured in Taiwan for training use only. I'm glad they said training instead of airsoft. It's a little bit cooler. You also have Defiance TR110 and the amazing bolt catch by Krytac, if you can see. Now, what's great about this bolt catch is you could see that this sticks out really far, and it's very slight. Just a little tap will make it move, and also it's integrated into the gearbox itself, so you're not going to have problems with it breaking or anything else like it does on many other airsoft rifles. Down here we have the key mod rail system. Now, what many people don't understand of why they would choose a key mod rail system, and what I'm going to explain is there is rail sections like this. If you ever had a Molly vest, the reason you would get that is so you could put on just what you need and nothing that you don't. So you put just rail sections on here and nothing that you don't need. So this cuts down on weight, on profile, and it also has a very nice look to it. It's also very thin, which I really like. You can see that it's all just no thicker than the body of the rifle, which is definitely going to be nice for cutting corners and everything like that. It's also much more comfortable to hold because you don't have all the sharp rails digging into you. It's very, very solid, and I really like that about it. Now you have your normal flash hardware over here, plastic. It's going to be pretty easy to take off. I don't know why some people said it wasn't. You just have to make sure you take out that Allen key on the, or get in your Allen key, take off that nut on the bottom. Some people missed that, and that's maybe why they had trouble with it. Other than that though, this gun is rock solid. Now let's get into the really key features that make this so I think it's actually a Lipo-Ready gun. Guys, inside the gun you will see this hop-up unit that is, to be honest, I think this might be the best hop-up unit, even versus aftermarket parts. This is staying. The reason I'm saying is it's gonna be insanely consistent. By the way, you see right up here, this whole layer up top holds that nub in place. You have the two-prong design of the bucking, so it's going to stabilize the BB better. Clips in very nicely, and you can hear very nice clicks. So this thing is very, very solid, and I'm 100% happy with the way they designed it, and it might be the best top-up unit of all time. And you can quote me on that, because I honestly think the consistency I saw in this gun is absolutely phenomenal versus any other gun. Definitely the best accuracy I've ever seen out of a stock gun, if that any other gun I've ever seen shoot. And yeah, and there's reasons behind that. You're also going to see this extremely beautiful gearbox. This is a gearbox that you haven't ever seen. It has this gold look to it. This is anodized and prevent it from rusting or anything. And then you have your serial number right here, Krytac. It's just overall beautiful. And here's that bolt I was talking about. That's amazing. Now, what makes a gun lipo resistant? I'm not going to say lipo ready, that's just a marketing term. I know I said that in the title, but that's to grab your guys' attention. What makes this lipo resistant? First of all, the main problem when you're using lipo batteries is the current of 11.1 volt is going to travel through the gun, and what completes the circuit is your trigger contacts. When your trigger contacts almost come together, there's going to be some arcing. That arcing is going to cause them to burn out and not work well, and I've had problems with that. What they integrated right here into the gearbox is a MOSFET unit. I'm sure many of you have heard of these MOSFET units, and what it does is it prevents trigger arcing. It also increases trigger response, which is why this gun has such great trigger response as well. That's a major plus, not to mention it's integrated in the gearbox out of the box. That's the number one thing that you need when you're using an 11.1 volt battery, and it's already in the gun. Second of all, you need a very strong piston for that high fire rate. Now, this is not the piston that is used in this gun, but it's very similar. The way it is. This is a Lonnex blue piston, and this is known in the airsoft world as one of the best pistons. The best being the red version, but their side rails are also reinforced in this gun. So all the teeth, the plastic teeth, are going to be stronger, and there's around 3 metal teeth. That's very key feature to have everything supported like that, and not many pistons actually do this. Second of all, up here they have a sorbo pad. Now what this does is helps angle of engagement, and how I can explain that is the piston's going to be farther back in the gearbox ever so slightly, and you're going to have your sector gear right here. Now, the problem with a gun that doesn't have good angle of engagement is when you're engaging the piston, this is how the piston goes, okay? When you're engaging it, it's going to be at a very small surface area. This is going to cause a lot more pressure on the piston, and you risk breaking this rear tooth, and you can even see I have some more extra wear on this from not correcting it. Now, so instead of at an angle it's going to be straight up and down right there. So now you're going to grab the tooth exactly where you want, and they also even remove the 2 teeth, so you're going to have correct angle of engagement. Sorbo pad also reduces stress for when it hits the end of the gearbox. It's going to be nice and soft. So those are 3 key features you need to run a MOSFET or a 11.1 volt battery. The MOSFET, you need angle of engagement, you need a nice sorbo pad, a strong piston. The gear also need to be shimmed well, and luckily the spur gear in this gun is actually self-shimming. Now, I've only seen that on VFC style airsoft guns, and that means that there's going to be a spring, and that self-corrects the gears so they don't fall out of place. So that's also going to be very good when using your high voltage batteries. You also have a little port right here, and so that's already phenomenal. They stop there. That also already makes this gearbox one of the best on the market. Not to mention the strong. All these are very strong gear sets, and everything is already phenomenal. But they had to go even better and include a quick change spring system. This makes it so you do not need to disassemble the gearbox to change your spring. All you do is you take an Allen key that's the right size, push it in, swivel it out, and your spring just comes right out. Replace it, swap it back in, boom, you're ready for CQB. If you needed to lower the spring, you're ready for outdoor. If you need to higher it or do DMR or anything, I don't doubt the reliability of this airsoft gun, because they just made so many innovations that make this high quality. So those are all the upgrades that techs will recommend you do in order to make it reliable with an 11.1, and right out of the box it already does this. There's not much I could say else about this gearbox other than it being phenomenal and fixing all the problems you would originally have before fixing it up. That's really the main thing I could say about this gun. It's phenomenal. Besides ever so slightly problems, I'm gonna have to rate this gun a 9.7 out of 10. It really couldn't be any better, and there's nothing that could be perfect. I'm going to do a shooting test and a chronograph reading very soon, in a couple seconds, and yeah, that's mainly it. The gun looks beautiful, performs even better, as you're gonna see, and it's definitely something I recommend for all levels of airsoft, as this is actually very cheap for what you get. $325, which is much cheaper than my VFC 416 in the $400 range, and it doesn't come with any of these amazing features that make this gun better than anything on the market. So if you ever need, not to mention this is Tokyo Marui compatible, so you're going to be able to replace all your gears and gear sets with this gearbox. Just swap it in. So if you ever need external, or you need to replace a gearbox, replace it with this. Ever need to replace a hop-up unit, replace it with this. It also comes stock with a 6.05, which is somewhat of a tight bore, right out of the box as well. Great bolt catch, great performance, great trigger response, great FPS. It's all there, and that's what you look for with an airsoft rifle. Amazing look too. Externals are phenomenal. Krytac is now my new favorite company, and you know, I've seen a lot of companies, I shot a lot of guns, and this definitely takes the cake, and they're new to the game, which really impresses me. So let's get on to the shooting test. Alright guys, we are outside going to do a shooting test of the new Krytac CRB with 120-ish, maybe 110 round mid-cap. Got our X-Cortec chronograph. First we're just going to shoot a little bit. I'm going to get my hop-up dialed in. Alright. Shooting test. 384. 384, 385, 387, 381, 386, 384, 384, 385. Now, with a 7.4 volt, we're going to see the rate of fire. 15.34, 15.38, 15.4. So you could see that this gun is extremely consistent out of the box, varying around 5-ish FPS, and I got some readings of exactly on the dot every time, and the only reason there's variations is probably because the hop-up is being moved around a little bit. So on the dot every time. It's really a phenomenal gun. One thing I just forgot to mention before you guys go, many of you were excited about the safety feature, and what that is when you put it on safety, the spring automatically decompresses. That's as you can see, that didn't work. So that it was discontinued, and it's not going to be on any production models. Well, maybe the later models, but fear not, Krytac is going to be able to put that into your gun after, not them specifically, but you will be able to purchase the aftermarket parts to make this, so once you put it on safe, it automatically decompresses the spring, and that will be actually a great feature. I wish they put it on already, but that's okay. They're trying to perfect it, and that's why they didn't put it on. But and I'll also show you the trigger response. This is with 7.1. Alright. The 7.4 Lipo, getting that trigger response, that's phenomenal. There's not much else I could say about this gun. There's so much things that they did perfectly, made innovations so you're not going to have any problems with this gun. Great bolt catch. Wrist says no wobble. That's thanks to these little prongs on the side of it. Yeah, thanks for viewing, guys. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments below, and have a nice day.